How can you tell that you are in an unequally yoked relationship? That's our topic today on The Beat. Hey everyone, my name is Alan Parr. Thank you all so much for visiting my channel. Here on The Beat, we release a new video every single Tuesday. And today we are answering the question, what does it look like or what does it mean to be in an unequally yoked relationship? This idea comes from the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6, where Paul says, do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. And so in this video, I want to first talk about what does that look like, and then 3 ways to see if you are in an unequally yoked relationship. Paul uses the imagery here of 2 animals whose necks are connected by something that's called a yoke. And so farmers would often yoke animals together either to carry heavy loads or to plow fields. And so every farmer was taught that you never connect or yoke, let's say a horse, with an ox because they differed in size, in strength, in ability, and in purpose. And when they did that, they would find that one animal would control or overtake the other one, sending them both in the wrong direction. And as a result, the field would never get plowed. So I want to give you 3 practical ways that you can identify that you may be in an unequally yoked relationship. And the first is if there is a difference in spiritual maturity. I want to talk specifically to the women for just a moment because I see so many Christian women settling for a man who is either unable or disinterested in leading you spiritually. And so when you marry somebody who's not able to be your spiritual leader, what ends up happening is you will consistently find yourself caught between the tension of obeying God and submitting to your husband. And so what ends up happening is you end up growing spiritually, and then there's this major part of you, the most important part of you, that you are not able to share with your husband because he's not able or interested in relating to you on that level. Or what ends up happening oftentimes is that your spiritual growth ends up being stunted. And so if you're with somebody that's not able to be your spiritual leader, I'm not saying break up with them or end the relationship, but I would say look for 2 things before you marry them. First of all, are they teachable? Can you put them under men that will lead them and teach them how to be a spiritual leader? And then second of all, are they showing tangible signs of spiritual growth? The second way that you can tell that you're in a relationship that is unequally yoked is not only if you have different spiritual maturity, but if you have different values. Let's say you want to give money to the church, and yet they don't see the point of it, so they would rather use that same money to purchase new furniture. Or let's say you value church involvement. You want to serve. You want to use your gifts. You want to get involved, and they see it as you're up at the church too much. Or you value the Word of God as being the final authority upon which all major decisions should be made, and they see it as simply just some old antiquated book that is no longer relevant for their life, that was written by man and not by God. Or in terms of prayer, you want to pray together and they have no interest in, and maybe they don't know how to pray. Even different tensions in terms of raising children. And finally, let's say you have a moral belief that you are willing to stand for, and yet this person instead continues to tempt you and pressure you to go against something that you believe is morally wrong. All of these different values can create friction and tension and ultimately break down the relationship. And so the third and final way that you can tell that you may be in an unequally yoked relationship is if you have different purposes. Now, I'm not talking so much about 2 purposes underneath the umbrella of Christian service, such as one person wants to do youth ministry and the other person wants to do audio video. I'm talking more so about where one person is committed, totally sold out to a life of Christian service, and the other person is just as passionate about a life that's committed to the corporate world, entertainment world, or the sports world, because what ends up happening is both people will end up giving all their time, energy, passion, attention, and money to their individual purposes, and then as a result, their lives and their paths will go in different directions. They'll grow apart. That'll create tension and friction in the relationship, or one person will feel like they have to give up their passion for the good of the relationship, which oftentimes leads to a deep-seated resentment. So can 2 Christians be unequally yoked? The Bible doesn't specifically prohibit a Christian from marrying another Christian. However, the more differences you have in spiritual maturity, in values, and in purpose, the more difficult the marriage will ultimately be. If you found this video helpful in any way, or maybe you know somebody that's in a relationship right now and they're trying to figure out which way they should go, feel free to share this with a friend. Also, if you haven't done so already, I would love it if you'd head over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Check out some of the other videos while you're there. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this subject. Please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on The Beat.